Peanuts creator Charles Schulz once said, "Life is like a 10-speed bicycle. Most of us have gears we never use. But what if you found gears on a rifle scope? Would you use them?" This is a Sniper ZY, one of the least expensive first focal plane HD glass scopes you can find. We're going to see what you get in the box, take it out to the range to test it out, and try to figure out why there are gears on the outside of this scope on this episode of Moondog Industries. This is the Sniper 4-14x44 first focal plane scope. I want to thank Texas Precision Optics for sending this out. We have our scope, and it's already pre-mounted, and it has a parallax focus wheel. This one feels like it has been 3D printed as opposed to the milled wheels that were on my ZT. This one definitely feels 3D printed. There is an Allen wrench for the scope rings, a microfiber cleaning cloth, and a user manual, and a set of CR2032 button batteries, coin batteries for the illuminated turret. Alright, so let's take a look at this. Nicely made. Just from a cursory glance on the surface, this is looks like well assembled. It's got an interesting design, this scope. It's got this crenellated design on the eyepiece and also on the front objective lens. It almost looks like a mechanical gear on the front. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this has any functional use. I'm assuming that this is purely decorative, but it certainly does create a very unique profile to the scope. I've never seen anything that looks quite like this. The magnification dial turns pretty smoothly. And these are apparently pop-lock turrets. Oh, good. Nicely tactile, and as you can hear, quite audible. If you can see this, just a little bit of slop between the clicks. Of course, no movement once you get it locked down. Alright, and the windage feels pretty much the same as the elevation. Nice audible clicks. Tactile positive. And just a little bit of slop there. Alright. And our parallax wheel. Oh, very stiff. But, that's par for the course for a new scope. Very smooth. I gotta say, this one is quite smooth. It goes all the way down, but supposedly it goes down to 10. It certainly dials past 15, so we'll assume that is 10. This gear cutout design on the ocular focus is very aggressive, kind of uncomfortable to turn just because they are the edges are quite sharp. It's certainly great if you're wearing winter gloves, but not so great if you're just using your bare fingers. But it does turn smoothly all the way from its low, from both extremes. All right, so let's take a quick look at these scope rings. Pretty standard Weaver style. I mean, they're fairly generic. They look pretty well made. It lacks heavy recoil lugs on the inside, so if you are putting this in a heavy recoil rifle, you can probably want to consider changing these out for heavier duty scope rings. Anyway, this overall looks good. Let's take it outside and see what we can see through the lens. We're looking at the peak of Mount Davidson, approximately 1,300 yards away or thereabouts, and we are looking at through the scope at 4 power, which is its lowest power setting, and that gives us the scope's best performance in terms of overall image quality, color, saturation, sharpness, contrast, etc. And as we move up to its maximum, we can see that it really hasn't changed point of aim, which is a good thing, nor has the focus shifted, but we do see quite a bit more of softening around the edges of the image. So we have a central sweet spot that's in focus, and the rest just slowly gets softer along the edges, and we've gotten much more unforgiving eye box. This scope has a particularly narrow eye box, and I would say about 3.5 inches of eye relief on this. So what we're seeing there, if you can, there is a white cement casement just to the right and just a little bit below of the center crosshairs. And above that is a gray pole, and on top of that pole is a 36-inch steel trail marker sign. So that pole is, and well, you can't really see the sign very clearly at 14 power, but that is a good proxy for a steel target at about this distance of 1,300 yards. Okay, let's take a look at the illumination. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in green. And let's go into the red. Off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see it's not quite daylight bright, but should be fine for twilight or low light situations. And the only part that's illuminated is the central cruciform of the reticle, the thin part with the subtension. So that's a nice feature. It's not overblown. Let's zoom up to its highest power setting of 14. Take a look at that. That is, again, highest intensity on red, and let me just turn this all the way around to highest intensity on green so you can take a look. The next step is to take this out to the range and take a look at some reference targets at 100 yards. And while we're here, I want to ask you to please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's free, it's simple, it helps me grow this channel, but it also helps you because you're taking control of the AI. Big tech suppresses a lot of firearms videos, so by hitting like and subscribe, you're telling the algorithm you want to see more videos like mine instead of a giant dodgeball game hosted by Mr. Beast. Though that would also be cool. Okay, we are at the Coyote Point range and we're looking through the scope, and let's just take a look at the range of adjustments here. And I'm going to bring this up. See how high it'll go. I feel like it's bottoming out there. Getting really tight. Okay. And it's at bottom now. And let's see our windage. And that little fuzziness is in the camera, not necessarily in the scope. That's our range of adjustments for windage. Alright, so let's take a look and let us zoom in now to our max of 14 power. The reticle subtensions are in MOA and match the turrets. Let's just aim for that center dot there. Okay, we're going to do a box test. I'm going to do a full rotation on our elevation. And then a full rotation of the turret for the windage. And let's turn that dial back again for our elevation. And then back again for a windage. And we are back. So passed. I'd say that thing passed. Alright. So let us see if this thing will pass Cyclops Joe's infamous nipple twister test. All right, let us put this back. And let's refocus this camera. All right. 0 on our elevation. And where are we on 0? That is 0. And we're back. Hey, this thing totally passed. Okay, good. 14 power, I really can't see many details on that target. And let me just make sure that the exposure is set up right. I'm going to zoom up to 200% and see if we can get this focused, locked. And it's kind of faint, but I can see 2 holes on the paper target to the left, 2 22 sized holes, one just below and to the left of the black bullseye. I think that's the 5 ring. And one, I can just see a hint of it at the bottom edge of the paper, just a little bit on the bottom right of the quadrant of that paper target. And as far as the U.S. Air Force's optical resolution chart there, I could make out element 6 in group -2 in kind of, well, I could see element 1 in group -1, I think. But that's part of it is just because of the magnification on this. But it's not bad. We are getting some significant chromatic aberration and softness along the edges of the image. So not too bad. Okay, before I forget anything, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Alright, the Sniper ZY. I'm really not liking that gear design on the eyepiece. It is uncomfortable and unnecessary. And if I'm wrong about that, if there's a good reason for why they're like that, please let me know in the comments. The turrets had a little bit of slop, but they returned to 0 in the box test and the nipple twister. And a significant feature is that this scope has a street price of about $130. At that price tier, I don't know if you're going to find another scope with better optics and a first focal plane reticle, so yeah, it's a good value. And if you are interested in picking up this Sniper ZY scope, you'll find product links and a full written review on my blog, moondogindustries.com. There's a link to it in the video description. Thanks for watching and hitting like and subscribe. Moondog, out. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please share it on forums, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MeWe, whatever social media you're on. And if you want to see all of my videos, check out moondogindustries.com.